Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Phil and I'm excited for this session. I'm going to be teaching you Everything I Do It For You. This is by Bryan Adams. You may also know this from the soundtrack from Robin Hood. All right, now this is a beautiful song, a really fantastic piano part, especially in this intro. That's the riff we're going to be focusing on here in this session. Let me play it for you once. This is what we're going to be working on together. 2, set, go. All right, I love playing this one. So the way that this intro riff is going to be broken down is it's 4 measures long, and we're going to break each measure up, all right? We've got 4 sections to this riff, if you will. And in this video, we're going to start right now with section 1. Let's take a look. Now, I know it might not seem like a lot to focus on only one measure at a time, but there's actually a lot going on here just in this treble staff first measure. This is right hand only, but we're playing 2 notes to start. We jump up into a new position quickly, and we start right into that little beautiful, dreamy, major little riff right there that we know. That's it, all right? One more time. Now that's a lot, so I want to focus on just that for now, and then I'm going to let you practice that. Now what we have to start is a D flat major chord. We're not actually playing the D flat, but that's kind of implied here. We're not playing it because, as you'll soon see, the left hand is playing double D flats here. And here we're just going to keep it nice and bare and open, so we're not going to play it in the right hand. But we start with that open 2-note voicing for D flat major. Then we're going to play another A flat and another A flat to keep that pulse of the rhythm going. Then we're going to jump up here and play this riff. So we're going to get our hand into a D flat major 5-finger position, thumb on D flat, pointer finger on E flat, 3rd finger on F, 4th on G flat, 5 on A flat, right? So when we're in this position, the pattern goes like this: 4 and 1 together, and then 5, back to 4 and 1 together, and then 3. And did you notice how my hand and arm and wrist and everything was sort of loose, moving with that? That's important here. When we play with our 1st and 4th finger together, and then go to 5, I like to lift my hand a bit there, come down again using the weight of my hand on 1 and 4 again, and then lift again when I play my 3rd finger on F. The result is this. I get this kind of emotion, all right? So keep that in mind as you're working on this. Now, one more time from this position, we can play 1 and 4, 5, 1 and 4, 3. I encourage you to play that on its own for a while before putting it into the larger context of this full measure. And of course, one more time, that goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and A. Okay, so our next step now is to play this in time. Let's go slow and then we'll speed it up. Let's get into that D flat position. Here we go. A flats, moving up, 4 E and A. Okay, so when you're ready, let's try full tempo. 1, 2, 3, and go. Okay, my friends, there's measure 1 of our riff. Now we are looking at both measures 1 and 2, all right? We've got measure 1. Something I want you to notice about measure 2. Rhythmically speaking, it's identical. We have quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, 16th notes to end it, all right? So that's good. We have slightly different notes. I want to teach you the second measure first, then we're going to look at both of these together. So we're going to start with this. Now that might seem a little bit weird to play A flat and E flat with our 1st and 2nd fingers, right? Look at this hand position. But it's important to remember the context of where we're coming from, right? That's why I started by playing this. Our 2 finger is ready on E flat. Our thumb is not too difficult to jump down to A flat. So that's what we'll do to start this measure. And then notice what we do next. We actually move down with 1 and 2 to here. So that's seemingly a little awkward, but when you get it under your fingers and you've practiced it a few times, you're going to see it's actually quite comfortable. So you have 1 and 2 on A flat and E flat, moving down and inverting that, E flat and A flat. Also with 1 and 2. We're going to do another one of those. Then we're going to move right back up, but not quite into the same position. Instead, I want us to embody this position. And we're going to break it up like this. First 2 notes, C and E flat, then top note, A flat. We'll do another one, and then second finger's already on D flat. So again, these last 4 16th notes, C and E flat, A flat, and then 2 on D flat. And if we back up to the beginning of measure 2, we have 1 and 2 on A flat and E flat, moving down, again, back up into this position here, and we play 1 and 3, 5, 5, 2. Okay, that's measure 2. That's the new stuff. And I encourage you to sit with that for a minute on its own before we try to back up into all of measure 1 and measure 2 together. But when you're ready, let's try that now. Let's try this in time at the slow speed. Set, go. Moving up. 4E and a 1. Moving down. 2, 3. Back up. 4E and a. Now, of course, our ear wants that to continue, right? And that's where we're headed next. Let's be patient. First, let's speed this up to full tempo and practice it. Then we'll get to measure 3. 2, set, go. Now, let's dig into the new material that we'll find in measure 3 of this riff. And what we're looking at on screen here is just measure 3. We have a slightly different rhythm than we're used to. We've been playing quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, and then 4 16th notes. Well, here, right in the beginning of this measure, we've broken up beat 1 into 2, right? We now have 8th note, okay? So let's figure out what we're doing here. I want you to think about this triad position right here, a G flat major shape. I want you to think about that with your 1, 2, and 4 fingers. If you think of it that way, this is all part of the same shape. We just have this pattern of the top 2 notes and the bottom note, the top 2 notes, right? That's all part of that. So that's how we'll start this measure. And we play 1 and 2 and 3 and. From here on out, we have the familiar 4 16th notes. We're going to play the same 2 notes we just played, but with different fingers. So we're going to move up to 1 and 2 on B flat and D flat. That's the beginning of our 16th notes here, and we'll play this. So it's 1 and 2 together, and then 3 on E flat, 4 on F, and then 2 on D flat. 4 E and A. One more time. Now, this measure together looks like this. Not too bad, right? We got this. Let's try to add it in with measure 1 and 2 by first looking at the transition from the end of measure 2 into our new measure 3 material. So that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at all 3 measures. Let's focus in on how we get into measure 3. So the end of measure 2 is this. 2 on D flat. We need to very quickly move so our 4th finger is on D flat and our 2nd finger is on B flat. Remember when I wanted you to think of this whole position? Well, this is partly why, because I want you to be ready for that thumb when it's needed. So the end of measure 2, quickly, 2 and 4, then 1. That's the challenge here, okay? You got to be quick from 2 to 4. Let's look at that one more time. Then we'll back up, try the whole thing. 4E and a 1E and. Now, it's very helpful here to use our sustain pedal because we can play this note very quickly, then move while it's still ringing, and replace it. Consider that, all right? Now let's back it up from the beginning of measure 2. Remember, we have 1 and 2 on A flat and E flat. Moving down, then back up, switch. Good, now let's back it up to the very beginning. And let's do this at the slow tempo first. Let's get in our first measure's position. Ready, and play. Yes, that's how we do it. When you're ready, here's full tempo. 1, 2, set, go. Let's jump right in. I'm going to teach you the new measure, then we're going to put it all together with this right hand. And we're looking at all 4 measures right now. You can already tell that this 4th measure is not quite as bad. We don't have the 16th notes at the end. Instead, we have a half note, right? That's not bad. And in fact, what we're playing in measure 4, we've already played in measure 2. Remember that? This time, though, I think it might be more comfortable to use our 1st and 3rd fingers here. Either way, it's those same notes, and we leave it with a long half note, all right? So that's not too bad on its own. Let's look briefly at the end of measure 3 into this new material. Remember, we have, and that's why we're using 1 and 3 this time. It's all about context, and here we were just coming from 2 on D flat. 1 and 3 is comfortable here. Then we'll switch back to 1 and 2. So measure 4 is actually the easiest measure of all. I love when this happens, when you've done a lot of work and you're getting close to the end and you find that the end is a lot easier than where you've just come from. All right, so that's where we are. I think it's time to try this all together now. Let's go slow first, then we'll speed it up. Ready? 1, 2, set, go. All right, there's slow tempo. When you're ready, I'm going to go full speed. 1, 2, set, go.